Hello my beautiful angels. So today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me / Q&A. So I asked you guys on Instagram what your questions were, said ask me anything. So I have a ton of different questions here. So I'm going to be showing you guys my hair and my makeup that I do. I get so many questions on how I do my hair and my makeup. So I thought, okay, let's do that today. So I have my curlers here. They've been heating up for quite a while. I love hot rollers. My mom used to use them all the time as a kid growing up and I loved them. Like, she had beautiful big voluminous hair, and so I found these on Amazon and I decided, let me try this, because now that I'm a mom I don't have enough time to actually do my hair with a curling iron like before. So this is just easy because you pop them in and then you can do your makeup while they're setting, and then you pop them out when you're done. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to link all the products I'm using down below in the order that I use them, from hair to makeup, so that I don't have to spend too much time talking about all that right now. So let's get started with the first question. I always like to start from the bottom. So the question is, and sorry guys, I'm not going to explain too much about this. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Separating the top from the bottom of the hair. My hair is very layered, so I like to get the shorter layers up out of the way. So I just kind of twist this and then get a big old clip and just smack that right there. And then I'm just going to comb through here. You want to make sure your hair is super clean. Wash it the night before you use your rollers, your hot rollers, so that your hair will be nice and fluffy and voluminous. I have a lot of hair, but all I need to use on this set are literally just the dark purple ones. So there's 12 dark purple ones, and that's all I need for all my hair. The smaller ones I'm not a huge fan of. They just make my hair a little too poodly. I just washed it this morning actually. And then I air dried it and then blow dried it a little bit because it's still a little damp. My hair takes a while to air dry, so for the sake of this video I had to blow dry it. So I'm just taking some heat protectant spray by Maria Nila. I'm actually going to take some in the top part as well. Retwist it. Now all I do is separate the two sections, one on each side, into 3 sections. So I'm going to use 3 curlers on this one, 3 curlers on this one. So the trick to these is make sure you don't touch the metal part because it's really hot, and it's okay if some hair falls out and it's kind of loose. The felt part is where I touch the most because it's not as hot. So I just roll the end first and then I roll it up as high and as tight as possible. So usually, since we're using bigger pieces down here, it might be a little harder to clip and they might fall out, but just do the best. The next one, if you have really long hair, trick is to first wrap the end around it and then roll upwards. And I always curl the bottom sections of hair inwards, and then the top sections I curl them outwards. I'll show you that. But I'm going to stop explaining here and I'm going to go into the first question. What do you like the most about your job? Well, I wear many different hats these days. I wouldn't say I have a job. Obviously YouTube has been a part of my job for many years, my career, my income, if you will. But the thing I love most is coaching. And I'm actually going to, these front pieces, I'm actually going to do away from the face. Just add some dimension to the hair. I love coaching. I love helping people. I love working with people. I love seeing their growth through time, especially with my coaching. I also do epiphany sessions now, so I can actually just do a one-on-one session one time with people. For those that don't want to do long-term coaching, I will link that in the description of this video for those of you who are interested. But I really love that aspect. I love helping people. And I love content creation. I think content creation, it's obviously takes a lot of time, and I don't have the time to do it as often as before when I was younger and I didn't have a daughter. I have a 1.5-year-old now. Crazy how time flies. But I just love creating content. I've loved it since I was a teen. I'm 29 now. I think I started this YouTube channel in 2010. That's like when I first started out. So yeah, I've always loved it, and I wish that I had more time to do it, and you know, maybe in the near future I will. A little bit more time to create in that aspect. Let's go on to the next question. Would you accept porn in a relationship? We're getting juicy questions now. No, I used to say, oh, it's not a big deal. I think porn has been so normalized in our culture, and you know, especially men viewing porn, that women or anyone is afraid to say I'm not okay with it. But my fiance and I were both not okay with it. We both have strong convictions about it, and that was something that I've had issues with with before in the past in other relationships. So when I met him and, we started becoming more serious, I had that conversation with him, and luckily we were on the same page about it. And so I think that, people are going to disagree with me, but I think porn has very negative effects. I mean, there's a lot of studies out there nowadays, the negative effects that it has on people, especially since they've been watching it for many years. A lot of people start watching it like 10, 12 years old, which is crazy. So that is obviously, it can limit your ability to connect with your partner, your physical partner. So I think that it's so normalized, but people don't really want to talk about the negative implications about it. I mean, there's just so much research, and not only that, but, the people who participate in it, a lot of them are abused. A lot of them are trafficked, which is a whole rabbit hole to go down. I wouldn't accept it. I've had negative experiences with that in the past, and so with my fiance, when we first met, that was kind of like something I wanted to see. Are you somebody who's into that? If you are, I'm not really going to start a relationship with you, because for me that's a deal breaker. Okay. What is one thing you would tell your younger self? I would tell her to be brave, to not let anyone or anything tell her that she can't do something. I would tell myself not to let the negativity of other people who tell me I can't do something or I shouldn't do something that I want to do, right? Something for my growth, something good for me, that I shouldn't let people talk me out of it. I think that when you're young, especially for me, whenever I was young, I cared so much what other people said or thought of me that I would let it affect plans. I would let it affect, my self-esteem, which is really sad because you stagnate yourself that way. So it doesn't matter if other people are doing it or not. If it is right and good for you, by all means do it. Don't let anyone talk you out of it. Curl that inward. It's going to be a little loose up here, but that's all right. You don't have to be perfect with hot rollers. That's like the best part about it. So now I have these little smaller pieces up here. So these can actually separate into 3. So I actually have 1, 2. What is the best age to have a child? I can't really tell you what's the best age for you. Everyone, I think, is different, obviously, but I don't think it has so much to do with age. There's people who they're ready to have children at 25. Others are ready to have them later on, obviously. I had my daughter at 27, I believe I was. I think I had her at a pretty good age for me because I was ready emotionally to have a child. Children are full-time. They are not an accessory. They are not a baby doll. Babies are babies for a year, and then after that they turn into full-fledged children, basically. So you have to be ready. It's not just for the baby stage of having to devote your entire life to them for a whole year, and everything is about them basically for a long time, but it's kind of like you have to be ready for that level of commitment, for that level of, almost sacrifice. I think parents, we sacrifice a lot for our children. In doing so, we change, we transform. When you become a mom, you transform, you become the mother. Your old self kind of dies. It's very much like an ego death. And that's why I tell people, pregnancy, treat it as a spiritual journey, because you are about to transform in so many ways that you don't even imagine. So it's so important to go through, if you want to become a parent or you're not sure, go through that journey and allow yourself to heal yourself, heal your wounds, heal your inner child, and then from there decide. But I don't think it's so much about age. I think it's about you, your maturity level. Are you ready to take on the responsibility of another human being? Because if you're not, it probably wouldn't be good. Because my life right now, and I know people are like, oh, you shouldn't allow that, but my life right now revolves around my daughter, and I don't see that as a negative. I love it. I love being a mom. I love being with her. I love seeing her grow. The time goes by so fast. And at the same time, I realize that it's difficult. And I admit that it's difficult being a parent. But you just have to really, not only that, find a partner, somebody, a co-parent, a father or a mother that will be good, a good parent. That's something really important. Is I had never, before I met my fiance, I had never met somebody who I was like, oh my God, I would love to have children with this person. person. Like, one of the things that I felt about him when I first met him was that he would be a good father. He just had that vibe to him. So I guess maybe subconsciously that was what attracted me to him, like, because I was obviously wanting to have children. But it's important that you just make sure like you find the right person, because having a child with someone is a huge commitment. And you know, marriage, you can get a divorce obviously, but when you have children with somebody, that is 18 years or more of you having to have a relationship with somebody, hopefully a good relationship. So that's my answer. I don't think there's like a specific age, but you know, don't let society scare you from being a parent, but also make sure that you're real with yourself, that this is something good for you and something that will not only enrich your life, but also you will be a good parent and raise a generation of children. So for me, I would say that make sure you're emotionally ready, you're healed. Make sure that you feel ready financially. You don't have to be a millionaire to have children. I know many people who are middle class or lower middle class who provide beautiful lives for their children. Don't have to be a millionaire, and make sure that you are with the right person to have children with. So, okay, before I go on to my makeup, let me choose my next one. How did you and your fiance meet? This is a good one to start. So I'm gonna see what product I'm gonna use for my skin, because I just bought this e.l.f. Halo Glow Filter and I haven't decided if I like it yet, so I'm just gonna pop a little bit on. But normally I don't use any foundation. I'll just use concealer and bronzer for my face. So how did my fiance and I meet? I'm not gonna get into too much detail because it's, you know, for the sake of this video, but we met whenever I was on vacation. Funny, really random. And I was single for like 2 years at this point and not really looking. I was so happy, guys, so happy single. I was traveling, you know, enjoying life, being with my friends, working on myself. Obviously, it was kind of like I had been going through a healing journey. I've talked about that in my Divine Feminine for some while. So I was just very happy being me, rediscovering who I am, you know. So I was traveling, I think it was right before the pandemic. I met him on the beach and we were basically at that beach because we were celebrating my friend's birthday. It was her birthday trip. And so he was actually on his boat and I was in the water swimming. I was actually teaching a friend who didn't know how to swim, was kind of scared of the water. I was teaching her how to swim. I was a swimmer growing up. I swam like competitively since I was 4. So he was on his boat and he was playing the music really loud on the beach. So, oh, I forgot to put on my lip mask. So what I like, let me just tell you about this lip mask. This is the Babe Original lip mask. And I actually have a code for this, 15% off. It's really important to keep your lips hydrated, especially anti-aging, and it will make your lip, use my code Isabel, 15% off. So anyways, we were on this beach. He was playing his music. I think I asked him to put a song on and he told me to he motioned for me. He couldn't hear me, so he motioned for me. And I went on his boat with my friend. I didn't go by myself. He was like alone on his boat. I think his people were like scattered. But he was like on his boat just watching it basically. And so I didn't really get to talk to him briefly because I was, you know, with my friends, and then he was like, oh, what's your name? How old are you? And then he was like, can I have your number? And I was like, sure, but I leave like tomorrow or the next day. And he took my number and I left. And I thought like the first thing that I noticed about him was his smile. He just had the brightest, happiest smile ever. And then he had texted me inviting me to like a place to go out that night, but I didn't want to, so I was like, no. So we ended up meeting the next day. He drove over to where we were staying and he invited me for another day. So I actually extended my trip because he invited me for another boat day. And then that was that. I went home the next day and he actually ended up taking me to the airport, which is nice of him. And I didn't really think much of it. I thought he was very sweet, very friendly, very fun, obviously. I didn't take him seriously because I was just happy to be traveling and live my life. But he was very persistent. Like after I left, he was very persistent in calling me, FaceTiming me, and things like that. And I was like, I'm not really into long distance. I had been in a long distance relationship prior and I just didn't want it. I told him that. I was like straight up. I said, no, I'm not really a fan of long distance. So he was like adamant about traveling to me. So we did like back and forth. I didn't travel to him, but he, traveled to me in Miami to hear where I live. And so we started just talking more. He told me like that I was probably the least responsive person ever, that I wouldn't respond to his texts very often. And he would call me a lot, like a lot, guys. I mean, call me a ton, and I wouldn't answer, or I would, text him later. Like, and it wasn't, I guess I did it subconsciously to see, like, is this guy really interested or what? Like, I really didn't give him too much, But he, he came to visit me in Miami when I was there with some friends for a birthday. And, from there, I kind of started liking him more. And the more, like, we saw each other, the more I liked him. And, he was very, very giving, very, very just, like, I would tell him like all types of things, that my standards and things like that, and he would go above and beyond to reach my standards. So finally he met my family when he was in Dallas, and it happened like our relationship progressed pretty quickly. He ended up moving to Dallas, a few months later, that we got serious, and so that's how that happened. So it was just very seamless, I would say. Like, when he found out that I didn't want long distance, I mean, this man packed up and left his life and to be with me, which a lot of people might say that was stupid or silly, but obviously it worked out, because we got engaged, and our daughter came along shortly after. So and we have such a good relationship. We get along so well. We're very different people. We love the same things, I would say. We want the same things out of life, but we're, in terms of our personality, we are polar opposites. Because he's super outgoing. He's always super energized, and I'm very laid back and I'm into slow living. He loves just doing all the things. Like, he's super hardworking, and not that I'm not hardworking, but he's the most hardworking person, and he's super entrepreneurial. That's what we have in common. We're both very entrepreneurial. We both love the ocean, and we both want the same things out of life. So, you never know how you're gonna meet a person. You never know. Like, that's why I always tell people, don't try to force things. Don't try to rush things. I've been in relationships in the past where I would try to force or rush certain aspects, and it just didn't work out. It just wrong. It felt like, we didn't mesh. There was a lot of confusion, but with him it was never confusion. It was just like, I could be myself around him. I was myself around him. I would tell him things to try to scare him off, but it didn't, So I think that a lot of it is fate. A lot of it is God. And also it's you too. And you being real with yourself about your standards, about what you want, and making sure that you have high standards. And especially women, don't chase, right? If that's not the dynamic you wish to have, don't feel like you have to chase someone in order to have your happy ending. Be yourself and be real with yourself, and don't ever be in that energy of lack or confusion. And men, if you want a woman, go after her and show her that you want to be with her, and go above and beyond, because there are so many, the way you set yourself apart is by not being half-assed, because there's so many men out there who do half-assed things. They're not consistent. So when you're consistent and you're showing, woman princess treatment, and you're being loving and kind to her and understanding, obviously nobody's perfect. There's gonna be some differences. There's going to be, arguments. There's gonna be things that happen, but what's important is that you stay true to her, and you are committed to her, and you show her that she's worthy to you, that she is worth it to you. If you don't show a woman that she's worth it to you, she will feel like, she's not good enough, and then she's not gonna want to be with you. Women, we love to be treated amazingly, so men often think like, oh, she'll chase me more, she'll like me more if I'm aloof and I don't pay attention to her. But I think that does the opposite. I think that really, especially women who are healed, they will go in the opposite direction. They will not. So, don't play games. Be honest, whether you're a man or a woman, but also be sure that your standards are high. You don't rush into a relationship because you're lonely. That this is a person who's actually showing you with action who they are, not somebody who's just, oh, let me pretend to be a good guy and, talk sweet things to her. No, he has to back that up with action. So important. And don't be afraid of chasing guys away. Girls are often telling me, oh, I don't want to scare away any guys. I'm like, that's good. Scare him away, right? Tell it like it is. Your standards, all of it. Because the guy who actually wants to be with you, he will be like, honey, yes, I will be all those things for you. And that's a man who will end up with a good woman. Because men understand, smart men will see a woman with standards and be like, wow, this is somebody exclusive. This is somebody who takes care of their energy, who values themselves. And who wouldn't want to be with somebody who values themselves, right? That's my little story, my little advice. It always happens when you least expect it. It's always the person you least expect. So my brows look kind of crazy right now, but usually start falling down for a second. Let's see. Eyeshadow. Should I do some eyeshadow? Yes, I will. I have my eyeshadow palette here. All right. Let's see some other question. What do you think about dark feminine energy? I actually got this question on a comment on a video, and I've seen a lot of this. I think on TikTok I see a lot of it. Comes up on like my For You page, and I didn't know what it was at first. Thought it was just like another way of saying like wounded feminine. But I actually started to watch some of these videos, and I teach the divine feminine. This is, I think, the most beautiful energy for a feminine woman to be in, because it is a very healing and empowering energy. It's, comes from the divine. When I came across this dark feminine, from my understanding, the dark feminine is very much about kind of manipulation, kind of having a facade of strength and, of femininity that is powerful, that doesn't allow you to get manipulated. Kind of like a defense mechanism, I see it more as. I think that, obviously you can present yourself in any way if you like, dark makeup and present yourself in a certain way. But don't feel that you have to be in this manipulative energy, or don't think that you have to look a certain way or act a certain way, or know all these mind games or these tricks in order to get what you want out of life. If you feel that you have to get into this dark feminine and all this and like femme fatale kind of energy, which, I mean, it's fun, it's beautiful. I think that's, if you want to present yourself as a femme fatale and, have the hair and the bombshell look, whatever, that's gorgeous. I think that that's your way of expressing yourself. But don't ever think that that's a way of life that is sustainable for you, because a lot of it is rooted in insecurity. A lot of it is wounded feminine, which wounded feminine is insecurity, is kind of manipulation. It is trying to control outcomes to get people to do certain things, or to get a guy or whatever, or to hurt somebody. I never am a proponent of that, right? I think it's beautiful to express yourself the way you want, but if you're coming from a place and you're finding this dark feminine content, or, this way of being, and you want to do that, or you want to present yourself that way so you won't get hurt, or you can, have more control in your relationships, I would say that is a good sign that you need to begin healing and to go within and to face that pain, that hurt, face those insecurities through the divine feminine, right? So you can be healed, so you will have a healing feminine energy, a healing feminine presence of compassion, of nurture, not only for yourself, but for others, and of creation. The divine feminine is the womb energy. It is creative energy. So when you are in that energy of the divine feminine, you are naturally creating your reality. You are naturally bringing forth things. That's why my fiance came to me just so easily. I didn't have to look for him or chase him, because I was naturally in that creative energy, right? I was naturally in that attractive energy. And that's how you also bring opportunities to you. You become just magnetic in a beautiful way, in a healing way. It heals the world. The divine feminine will heal the world. And that's what we need to focus on as women. Dark feminine, it looks fun. It looks, edgy, it looks, attractive, it looks powerful, but at the root of it is a lot of woundedness. Now, I'm not saying this about everyone who makes, this content. I'm not, trying to say that, but that's my takeaway from it. And I always think that everything needs to come from the heart, and everything needs to come from a place of light, not darkness. That being said, dark feminine, I thought the dark feminine was kind of more of wounded and healing, right? It's like going within and facing your inner wounds and in what you need to heal. Because the feminine, I would say, is very dark, right? It's the womb energy, it's the moon energy, it's the going within. I talked about this in my last video, but I'm just not a fan of this whole like, oh, let me be the seductress kind of energy to get what I want. I think that that's minimizing your true power as a feminine being. How to be single and happy in your 30s. Well, I actually have a video about, enjoying your single life. I'm gonna spritz my skin with this stuff. kind of like is from Elf. I would say don't let your age become a factor. Don't get caught up in your age. I think what's really important more so is focusing on you as a person, you as your inner growth. If you feel some kind of lack around your age, it's because you need to heal certain aspects, or you need to cut out certain things or people who are telling you you're not worthy at a certain age. Also, what's really important is that you look to other women as examples of women at all ages, you know, finding love, you know, getting ahead in their career and all these things, and see that life doesn't end at 30 or 35 or 40. There's still so much for you to live, and still so much for you to enjoy and see, and know that your age is not a factor. I know a lot of people will say that and be like, oh, Isabel, you're delusional. But literally, guys, it is about your perception. If you believe that your 30s mean that you're going to find somebody, or not, you're not going to find someone and it's too late for you, that will be so. And that can happen at any age. There's women who are 25 and they feel like they're never going to find anyone, you know, and if you have that mentality, that's how it's going to be. Do not ever let anyone, society, anyone tell you that you're not good enough because of your age, or that you're too old. No, as long as you are living and you are breathing, there is air in your lungs, your life can change for the better, and you can live the life of your dreams and find the person of your dreams. What's important is that you keep enjoying your life, keep moving forward. Don't let anyone bring you down. Anyone makes fun of you or tries to say you're old for your age, cut those people out, right? Only surround yourself with people or with influences that are going to help you. I have a wonderful friend. Her name is Emily. I actually did a podcast episode with her, and Emily, she found her now fiance in her 30s, and now she teaches women all about dating and, you know, and finding high value men as well in your 30s and beyond. So, you know, don't feel like your age should be a limitation. It's only a limitation if you allow it to be, and that is with anything in life, whether it's the way you look, whether it's where you're from, your accent. If you feel that that's a limitation, it will be. So don't let anything in your life be a limitation. See it as a superpower. That's something that I've lived my life, you know, seeing. Sometimes society tends to tell us certain aspects of ourselves aren't value or lower our value, and that's when we have to take our power back and decide, no, that's not the truth of who I am. That's not the truth of my value or my reality. I'm going to create my reality, and then when you create your reality, the outside world molds to it. So love is a state of being at the end of the day, and focus on self-love within you and enjoying your life, loving your life, your platonic relationships, and focus on the inner world, and you'll see how everything changes, your perspective changes. So being happy is all about doing the things that you love and focusing on the people you love, and making sure your life is full of experiences and new experiences, learning a new language, learning new things, you know, and always focusing on inner growth. And that's going to make your time so much happier. Can you do a what you eat in a day video? I can, but what I eat has been kind of all over the place. I am eating cleaner these days because I am finally on a weight loss journey after my pregnancy, after having my daughter. But yeah, I can do that. I think I will do that soon because I like to see what people eat, especially moms. It's like, what do you eat in a day? I will say this though, my breakfast is like the same thing all the time. My lunch is usually like a salad or vegetables, and my dinner, sometimes I cook and many times we will eat out. So we will eat out probably like most days out of the week because it's just easier for us in our schedules. My fiance, he works. I try to get him to eat as healthy as possible, but he's kind of a junk food kid. Luckily, that's why I like to cook, so that he eats more of a healthy, balanced diet. But I'll do that. What's something we don't know about you? I don't like to follow trends. It's kind of like when I see something's trendy, that's like a sign for me to not do that thing. And not to say like there's anything bad with trends. It's just, I guess my brain is wired that way. I did buy this Stanley cup because I saw everyone had it, and I love water bottles. I love my Takea water bottles, but I recently lost my Takea, and I was like, well, all these people have these Stanleys and they rave about them. So let me try these Stanleys out. They're expensive and they're always sold out, so there must be something good about them. So I bought a Stanley, that Stanley. It's cute. I like how it fits in my cup holder, but it's not a good water bottle for on the go. I don't know if it's mine that's faulty, but if I turn it over or if like I throw it in my passenger seat when I'm getting in the car, it will spill. Like it will literally have a torrential downpour. My Takea that broke, I loved it. It was huge. The only thing it didn't fit was in the cup holder, but it was huge, and it had like a flip out straw, and it was cute. It was pink, and it was the best. This one, they say it keeps your ice cold. I don't drink ice cold water for health reasons. Apparently it's not good to drink anything ice cold. So really, I think I wasted my money on this Stanley. Not really that big of it. It's cute, it's trendy, but I was severely misled. I also have been getting into true crime recently, like the Idaho 4 murders that happened in the University of Idaho. I'm like obsessed with that case. I think that there's just so many things that are like inconsistent about it. It's like in my brain, none of the information that's come out has made sense. So I'm like going down rabbit holes. I love going down rabbit holes. I love conspiracy theories. I don't care what anyone says. I love reading about everything. I question everything. So yeah, maybe you guys probably knew that about me already. How to learn about yourself. Journaling. Get out your journal. Write down your strengths and your weaknesses. That's a good place to start. Write down where you wish to, what do you wish to improve on in your life within yourself? What do you want to grow in? What do you like? What do you dislike? What are your fears? Perhaps your traumas, all those things, right? The good and the bad about ourselves. We have to get to the root of that. So taking out a journal, I think journaling, just in general, like getting out a journal and writing down what went on in your day at the end of the day is so beautiful and therapeutic. You have like a conversation with yourself. You let certain things out with a journal for some reason. It's like sitting down and talking with a friend over coffee kind of thing. And, doing things like Enneagrams, things like that, like personality tests, I think are really helpful as well, but you don't have to base your entire life around them. I see people base everything on like their Enneagram. I've never taken one personally, and also trying new things, right? Trying new things and having new experiences. You're going to know so much about yourself. Okay, now I'm going to get onto my cheeks. So I'm going to talk about this really quick. I usually use this Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. This is the Peachy Love palette, which is like these beautiful peachy shades that I absolutely love. And I mean, the way that this orange peach had a hold on me for like 3 years was insane. I still use it from time to time, but as of late, I've really loved using this pink. I feel like my natural flush is definitely pink, not orange, but I just love the way orange makes me look. I do use a lot of orange tones in my makeup. My lipstick, my eyeshadows, when I do eyeshadow, I usually don't do eyeshadow, but for the sake of this video, I was like, why not? But yeah, I started using more pink because I kind of like the way it looks on me now. So this is the Il Maquillage Carly Bible Moonstruck Medium palette. I don't know if they still make these. The bronzer sadly fell out. I mean, the highlighter. It was like a baked highlighter bronze. So yeah, I use that, and then I go in bronzer. Oh, here it is. My bronzer brush. And I do this like under here. I like this bronzer. It's a matte bronzer because it kind of gives you like a sun-kissed look versus like a chiseled out. I used to use this contour kit by Anastasia, the light to medium, and I would use like the cool tone one. But I like the way this one looks, especially for the summer. It just gives me more of a bronzy look. All right, let me get on to these questions. I always use so much time. I would love to see some vlogs. I've thought about vlogging, but I don't want to show too much just for safety reasons of the places I go day to day, like where I live, things like that. So that's why I'm a little apprehensive about doing vlogs. But maybe when I go on another trip, I'll do a little travel vlog here and there. I think that's fun. Tips for being confident on the physical side, not caring about ugly features. Really good question. So I think the most important thing is to play up those features that you obviously feel insecure about and make them your focal point. Don't try to hide them. I think when we try to hide certain things or certain features, that kind of makes them more obvious to not just to us, but like to other people. People will notice it and be like, oh, she's probably insecure about that, whatever. So I think it's about just highlighting those things that normally people would you know, or society deems as not desirable. Owning those things, right? Owning the things that make you different. Because I always think we have such a cookie cutter version of beauty in society nowadays. Like, it's all like, you know, these trends happen and then everyone wants to look like that trend, which you shouldn't feel like you have to follow trends to be beautiful. I think what really brings out your beauty and brings out your unique individuality is you owning what makes you different and enhancing your natural features, right? Even if it's not trendy to have this kind of body right now, enhance it, right? Make it beautiful and you will stand out if you wish to stand out. Not all of us do, but if you wish to stand out and look like your most beautiful self and like and feel confident, own those things, right? And don't shy away and don't feel like it has to look like anyone else or anything else. So I'm just lining my lips here. I always like to use kind of like a spicy lip liner. This one is Sugar and Spice by LA Girl. My favorite lip liner, I will say, is my Milani Spice. I think it's like gone. I use it so much that it's like short and broken. I need to buy new. I couldn't find it at Ulta, so I just bought this one. So I like to line the whole lips with that. And then I'll go in with like a pink. This is Stockholm by NYX. And I go, or this. Everyone always asks me what my lip color is, and it's like a custom color that I make myself. And then I will go in with this Fenty Beauty Thang. They've had so many oranges, and I'm always sad they always discontinue them. This is the one that they have right now. I love just a pure orange lipstick. I love my orange lipstick. It's really hard for me to wear anything else. I just love orange. So I dab that over. It's very juicy. I love this formula. I dab it over. And sometimes I'll stay like this, but other times I'll take my Naturally Chic by Milani lipstick and I'll just kind of go over it a little bit, kind of on the sides. Ooh, darken it a bit. And if I feel like it's too dark, go back in with my Fenty that's almost out. Gives you a very juicy look. So I think that's it for my makeup. Let me see. How old are you? I am 29 years old. I am so close to 30. I can smell it and I can feel it in my joints already. Yeah, I'm 29 and I honestly don't feel 29. I mean, mentally, I feel like I'm still like 24. I mean, just the way my mind is set up. I think a lot of us in this post-pandemic age, we feel a lot younger than we actually are because it feels like we lost like 2 years of life. So yeah, I'm 29. And I'm really not scared to be 30. I think 30 is a great age to be. All right, thinking of traveling to Puerto Rico, any advice or tips? Definitely rent a car and leave San Juan. The most beautiful areas are on the coasts, the West Coast and the East Coast. And Puerto Rico is so small that that you can like see the whole island in just a few days. So definitely go to the coast, the east, the west, north and south coast. San Juan is fun, you know, for nightlife and things like that, but you will find like beautiful beaches. Like my favorite part of the island is let me see, is it west or east? The northwest coast, or the whole west coast of PR. I love it. That's where my fiance's from. And I just love like there's a lot, it's like a surfer vibe over there, a lot of surfing, very relaxed, laid back. So that's where I would recommend people go, is like there's also the other side of the island called Fajardo. It's beautiful. I would also recommend, if you can, take the ferry or the not private, but they're like little planes that you can take, it's like a short plane ride to get to the island of Vieques. I spent my 27th birthday there. Vieques, Culebra. You can also take a boat, like you guys have a boat available at your disposition. Go there as well. Vieques, Culebra, Palomino. It's like a short boat ride away from Fajardo, and just explore outside of San Juan. San Juan is nice, has good restaurant, good nightlife, I would say, but Puerto Rico has so much to offer. If you're not into beach and you want to go to like rainforest, nature, horseback riding, go to ride horses there. They have do beautiful horse tours, like very beautiful. So that's just like right outside of San Juan. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. If you like beach, obviously go to the east or west coast. Ponce is beautiful. There's just so much to see in that small island, and the food is good. The people are super nice. There are obviously some areas that are dangerous in San Juan, like stay out of areas like La Perla. So just ask the locals, they'll tell you where to stay out of. So what I'm doing now is just brushing out my curls, my waves. They're kind of wavy now with my Tangle Teaser. You can do it with your fingers, but I definitely prefer this. And this is how we do our hair. Like, you see, people ask me, how do I get volume? I mean, it's just all from the curlers. See, so it gives you very poofy 70s hair. I know in the 70s they would use hot curlers, and what they would do is spray their hair down in the rollers, but I don't like to do that. I like my hair very fluffy but soft, and my hair holds curl pretty well. So all I will do now is get some of the serum. This is the True Soft Argan Oil by Maria Nila. I love this stuff. It just makes your hair so silky. So it brings in some shine to the curls and the waves. So what am I gonna do next? Let's see, what's my next question? Moving abroad at 32. I think you should do that. I think that's a great idea. It's never too late for a new beginning. 32 is a great age. So go for your new beginning. Go to a new country. I would love to move to like Portugal. That's something I've discussed with fiance, because I love the slow life. It seems like a very nice society in general. So that's that. Let me show you guys. So there's my hair, all done. Hair and makeup all done. Very easy to do. This probably would take me like 30 minutes total to do hair and makeup, which is great for me as a mom. Obviously, if I'm having like a busy day or whatever, I won't do all the hair, right, or all the makeup. I'll do like very natural toned down makeup, mascara, concealer, blush, and lipstick. That's it. So this is the end result. Thank you so much for watching, for being here, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Here's my mess that I need to clean up. But yeah, that is the final look. But yeah, this is the final look. Very fluffy hair. I will link all the products down below, everything I used, coupon codes, all that good stuff, so that you can get this look yourself. So thank you guys so much for all your questions, and I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe to see more videos from me, and follow me on social media, on Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Links are always down in the description, and next time I do a Q&A, you can submit your question to me. So thank you guys for being here. I love you, and I will see you in my next video.